Life in a world that keeps changing. Think that it's progress you're making. Copy and paste pretty faces all the time. Pictures so perfect we play.
Hello everyone, welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button, also put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time in my next video.
I think the media has a duty to interrogate those making allegations. At least it's not out of, it will not be too much of a reporter to ask a governor or anybody making allegation to at least attempt to show evidence or some kind of logical basis to arrive at such conclusion. I had the privilege of being a governor in this state for 8 years, and I have more than I have sufficient interest in the peace and stability of this state. As you can see from my own experience, governors will come and go, but the people remains. And if there is one man who has enjoyed the trust and confidence of Edo people since 1999 and even before then, I think it's my humble self, because I am on record as the only person in our history who won election across the 18 local government area of Edo State, scoring 75.6% of total vote cast. Even as I ran that election against a retired general who was said to have deep pockets. So if the people have done me such, extend such recognition, respect, and trusted me with our collective patrimony to manage their resources in a manner that will deliver happiness, smiles, and do the greatest good to the greatest number of our people, as they did for 8 good years. The least I owe them is to do anything and everything that is within my power to ensure that even not here they enjoy peace. But let me also say that I have led protests to Edo State even before I became a governor. At least on 2 occasions, I led massive protests to Osadebe Avenue, the seat of Edo State government, when I was president of the NLC. We had tens of thousands of people buying into that protest. But it is on record that not one person was injured, nor one person having his property or her property destroyed. I am on record as being a victim of PDP rigging machine in the election that was conducted on the 14th of April, 2007. I led protests across Benin in which tens of thousands of people protested and there was no violence. So I think it is not in the mouth of Obaseki, with all due respect to his very high office, to throw allegations without attempting to show any proof. First and foremost, I think we all have a duty to pray for the repose of the soul of those who died. I don't have the figures. There are conflicting reports as to who died and how many people died, if people died. But whatever anybody has suffered, I think is unfortunate. Because most of the people who were felled either by police bullets or those banks that were destroyed or any other property destroyed belong to people who are also victims of this policy. As far as I know, the banks are also victims. So destroy the banks is not a solution. But I am a believer in the right of citizens to protest. There is a difference between protest and rioting. And I can't count the number of protests I have led in my life. From the age of 17, 18, protest has been my life, fighting for justice. And at 70, I'm not about to stop it. When I was governor here, there were protests. I go to the gate of government house to address those protesters. There have always been attempts by people to hijack. But when the governor behaves responsibly and address the needs of the people, give them the assurances that they need from their leaders, the people are not fools. And that is how when I was here as a governor, it's not as if there were no policies from Abuja or even from Edo State government that some people didn't like. The important is that a governor or a leader must be able to win the heart of his people and talk them out of bitterness, and above all, give them hope that whatever are the challenges that they face, that the government is in a position to do something about it. This is what government should do. So when I read initially in the social media, and later I saw it in a section of where we can't dismiss them as a non-important media, that Obaseki has ordered the police to arrest me, I had a very good laugh. First, because Obaseki doesn't know that he doesn't have the power to order the arrest of a citizen. And that is the reason why some people have reservations about when people like Obaseki talk about state police. The law is clear. If a crime has been committed, it is up to the law enforcement agencies to investigate, and if they find someone who they think may have had in it, to invite the person for questioning. The police are not, and I will be surprised if they have now degenerated to a level of taking orders from a politician who is faced with crisis of confidence, and the people are voting against him. There are huge issues of the legitimacy of his government, and he thinks that he can order police to arrest whoever he considers to be his political opponent. So it's unfortunate. But I thought that you media people should have asked him. And if you didn't remember, it's not too late to ask him. Mr. Obaseki, so Comrade also caused the riots in Warri, where Okowa is the city governor. Comrade also caused the riot in Ibadan, Oyo State. Oshomole also went to Kwara State to organize protests in an APC state. But if you didn't ask him, maybe you have your reasons. But let me say that Obaseki is a victim of his own double standards. He says one thing in the morning, he does another the following day. I think Obaseki, after embarrassing the Central Bank governor, Emefiele, when he accused him I think sometime last year or the year before, of printing hundreds of billions of naira to share for states by way of federation account, and that the Emefiele's policies are going to destroy the naira, even as he admitted that the money was being shared to state governments. After his initial reaction, I think he now realized that, wait a minute, election is coming, Obaseki needs cash. And he needs cash, and who will give him this cash? Oh yes, the person who was giving him before. Well, he took over 20 billion from CBN in the name of agriculture. You are journalists. Ask Obaseki to show you where the farms are. He had taken those money and converted them to other purposes. And of course, he's obliged to refund those money. And so he has to do things this time to look as if he's suddenly a man who has been abusing federal government, abusing Buhari, abusing anything federal, suddenly decided that a policy that I have denounced, even as a former chairman of APC, and I didn't denounce it secretly. I denounced it on channel television. In the course of campaigning, when I hear people, they complain to me about the challenges they have, I have never hesitated in denouncing it. And I will continue to denounce it because it is not the policy of APC. I can't be afraid to say the truth. So Obaseki wanted to make money out of this hardship, suddenly become pro-CBA governor, defending anti-people policy, where your people are groaning. And he has made the wrong assumption that Edo people don't know their right from their left. After all, in spite of his misdemeanor, another MOU and all the other stuff he has used to divert Edo people's attention, which are manifesting now, and even degenerated to a level like a madman, tried to reloot the artifact that the Oba of Benin had been struggling for years to have repatriated to back to the palace where they were looted many years ago. He suddenly found started singing new song. He went to court to challenge the decision of the Supreme Court, which had ordered that this sudden withdrawal of confiscation of currencies and the bank refusal to release money that people toiled to earn. And the Supreme Court rightly gave an injunction. And everybody knows. You don't even have to be a governor to know that. But for the rule of law, what we protect Obaseki of Sadibe Avenue, given his crimes against Edo people. But because of the rule of law, he is enjoying himself there. Even though people have lost confidence in him. So when the Supreme Court of the land makes a decision, people expect that everyone who is a product of ballot, a policy that is clearly imposing hardship, even the president has spoken to the unintended consequences. Obaseki is on record with his Attorney General appearing on television by those who watch television and wasn't able to watch it, asking to be joined to oppose other governors in support of this policy, which the Supreme Court has granted the interim injunction. So he created this problem. If the police are to deal with the root cause of the riot, Obaseki will have to be brought to justice. And I just saw a video today where he had a meeting with CBN officials in Benin and some POS operators, asking the CBN to make money available, this. I'm like, You see, when you start one lie, you will need several lies to sustain one lie. When does it become the business or the duty of a state governor to tell the CBN how to manage cash disbursement? When the same CBN officials went to him last week, which I referred to in one of my rallies a week ago, that day, this lady who is working with them, with the Edo State government, Mrs. Blackie, was reported as asking the CBN officials, how come that they can't even get 10,000? They say they should go to POS or go to ATM, but they are not getting money and people are sleeping there. Their members are selling rice and tomatoes, okra, onions, and so on. And they explain how this senseless policy, I call it senseless because you don't make a policy based on idealism. Policy should be formed by the objective reality on ground. And a CBN official was reported to have said to the market women, if you can't get 10,000, even if it's 5,000, you can manage it. What an insult. And so, a governor that benefited from vote casted by people who killed other sun and rain to vote for you, your reward for them is at a moment like this when they are in distress, where their businesses, small businesses, many of these people, there is no presence of government in their lives. It's they, God, and weather. They toil to make 5,000. And they were told it is safe to keep money in the bank, not at home. They kept this money in the bank. Some of them, their total savings for a year is not up to 100,000 or 200,000. They want to take 20,000, which even Governor Mefili promised. They can't get it. And they say the banks are holding the money and all that. But they have not named any particular bank. No bank MD is known to have been invited for questioning. They say, oh, it is an unknown banker. My friend, Nigerians are not stupid. So let me be very clear so nobody should misunderstand me. I, Adams Oshomole, I believe Nigerians have a right to protest against anything that they are not happy about. But I also want Nigeria to understand that there's a huge difference between protest and rioting. And that the problem of rioting is like shooting gun into a market. You don't know who it will hit. But when you peacefully decide to protest, that is what distinguishes a free people from slaves. So I cannot, even when I was in government, if some of you will recall, play back your videos, you will see me addressing tomato women, addressing people selling okra, addressing all kinds of people who have issues. Whether issues arising from Edo State government decision or issues arising from federal government decision. Of course, we are free people. But that is not the same thing as going for violence. So I have no hand in it. And my position on it is clear. It hasn't changed. I still believe the Supreme Court accessibly made a decision that in terms of balance of convenience, you cannot confiscate our currency or refuse to give to us the currency we gave the bank to keep. It does not belong to the bank. It does not belong to the central bank. I hold those views very seriously. And I am on tape and I will give it. If you give me your WhatsApp numbers, I will spread it, and please use it as generously as you can. A week ago or thereabout, in fact, the day the Supreme Court granted that injunction was filed by APC governors. So when I say it's not APC policy, I mean it. The fact that APC governors are challenging the decision is the best proof that this is not APC policy. The day that injunction was granted, it coincided with the day I was scheduled to address a rally in Auchi. And I spoke to the evil, the dehumanizing implications of this policy. And that for me, the state, that's to say, Nigeria government or any of its agencies, including the CBN, cannot superintend over official extortion of citizens. It is extortion when a citizen goes to a POS operator and is asked to part with 1,000 if he wants 5,000. And when I try to also find out, why would the POS operators be doing that? If they tell you their own story, you will also be sympathetic to them. They unable to get a formal allocation from the bank across the counter. They have to queue and sleep in the few POS that are, ATM machines that are working to maybe access 5,000, 10,000, or not more than 20,000, according to the draconian policy of the CBN. So when they have slept there overnight to get small quantity, let's say 10,000 or even 20,000 maximum, 100 people want to change their money from the 20,000. You have about 200,000, 1 million chasing 20,000. And when the man factor in the cost of sleepless night, temporarily separated from his family overnight with all the risks that that entails, he then decided to charge a premium. So head or tail, even the POS person is a victim. The real culprit is the central bank. You don't pursue policies before you put in place the necessary infrastructure. Even now, I'm sure many of you, because nobody here should pretend that he's not a Nigerian, many of you are trying either to receive what somebody is transferring to you by way of salary, or you want to send something to your mother who is not living in Benin. You send it, and your mother is not able to receive it 24 hours later because the system is congested, which means CBN did not plan, nor did they encourage the banks to put the necessary infrastructure in place to take the massive traffic that will result from transfers. But even at that, the woman who sells tomatoes, who now can't get people to pay him because she doesn't have a bank, in the evening, the tomatoes goes to rot. So a small business, which is part of the thing the CBN has been touting about supporting small-scale businesses, the huge role of the Nigerian informal sector, it is that sector now that is being wiped off by this senseless policy. And you have an Obaseki who somehow managed to convince people there is an economy. There is nothing about his CV that suggests he read economics. So it's an economy, so there will be long-term benefit. What is long-term benefit? After death, what follows? Everywhere I go, I'm in circulation. And I'm very privileged. And I thank God for that. Now, there are millions of Nigerians across the country who live on what I call, or what Americans will call, tips. They are not employed. They go to airports. They go to motor park. They go to various locations. And if they think you need help, or you don't even need the help, you carry bag, they want to help you. And when you've seen what is going to, you look at their faces, you put your hand in your pocket and give them 500 naira, 1,000 naira, or even 5,000. Now you can't even give tips to this army of people who, on account of their being unemployed, have resorted to this self-help. They have wives, they do pay rent. So I don't know how anybody can justify this. Although your question is about the allegation against me, but I thought that was too laughable to merit response. But let me reinterpret the logic. Assuming, please, I want to speak slowly here. Assuming without conceding that I'm the one who ordered the protest. Those huge numbers of people that came out yesterday, if they were taking orders from me, even though I have left government for the past 7 years, and incidentally, I have not been in Edo for the past 4 days. I was in Imo, from Imo to Port Harcourt. If I have that power to move those market women, elderly people that I saw in those videos, boys and girls, if I have those powers to order them and to respect my orders, it just means that Obaseki is no longer the governor of the state. He may be governor in the eyes of the law, but the legitimacy to govern, he has lost it. And when you remember that this is a man who said, I am finished. So, from my political grave, I have this huge influence. So, I think we should discuss other issues. But I do understand the fact that he has been using his people to oppress the opposition here. He has harassed the obedience, destroying or refusing them to put their billboards. And he did the same to APC. APC had to do a press conference. He was using his boys in the night to remove those things. Yesterday, he saw the limits of power. When broad daylight, people are not discussing themselves, and they rightly saw PDP as a problem. Because if you are not benefiting from this abuse, why will you celebrate it? So, I'm clear that no right-thinking, I emphasize, no right-thinking person, certainly not in the security agencies, who have followed my campaigns, who have followed my comments on this issue, we take Obaseki serious. Because everywhere I go, when I hear, as I'm about to do, listening to people who were canvassing for votes, and they talk about the hardship arising from this policy and the twin evil of scarcity of PMS. What I tell them is on tape, not in one place, not in two places, everywhere. And I know that our security agencies are present when we are doing those rallies. You have SSS, you have police in every local government, in every ward, you have them. My message has been clear. My people, may this pain you are going through be the incentive you need to insist that you must vote. Don't play to their hand by resorting to protest. Because what some of them want, people like Emefiele, is for this election not to take place. Because if there's massive uprising, there will be no election. What does that mean for the poor people? Now you have opportunity to vote and choose who you want. In my own case, the Jagaba of the universe, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If you prefer another person, it's your choice. But that right to exercise that choice, don't allow anyone to provoke you into doing things that will give them a shield to postpone the elections. I have been saying that, and I insist it is so. Because I don't think anybody who wants this election to take place will create this hardship. No democracy does that. So, you media people have a huge task. Even though some of you are already politically committed, one way or the other, when you watch the news, Nigerians can tell you, I listen to a man I respect very much, another statesman in his own right. Not a bread and butter politician, Robert Clark, SAN. He narrated that even at his level, he has not held, he's not a minister, he's not a politician, he doesn't belong to any political party. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. I'm not sure he's still even in practice, but he has his reputation. He had an interview with Arise Television, And he told the TV host that, look, you guys should go beyond partisanship and look at issues objectively. And he said, Robert Clark, he found himself having to buy Naira with Naira. That is to say, he wanted 120,000 Naira to sort out a few domestic issues. And he had to pay 150,000 Naira to buy 120,000 Naira. That's a senior advocate of Nigeria. So if he's that helpless, and he did it twice. So if he is that helpless, what about the unknown Nigerian who wakes up, walk 10 kilometers to the farm, plant cassava, plant orange, whatever is it, pray for good harvest, and if he doesn't come, he pleads with God to forgive him, maybe he offended God. They've given up on government for many of these people. Now the money that you say you want cashless policy, this policy now will discourage, is a major setback to our journey towards cashless policy. Because by denying people, poor people, the right to their money, the message is going around that if you ever get a Naira again, don't keep for bank. Go one day they can wake up and say you can't take it. Because they assume that because the masses are not PhD holders, they don't have native intelligence. Will you now keep your money in the bank when you are not sure that somebody can wake up next tomorrow and say that this money, you can't withdraw it? He's not accusing you of any crime. He says he's putting this limit, use card. Meanwhile, in Edo State, let me speak to my senatorial zone. We have 6 local governments. It is only my local government that we have banks. Onwa West has no bank. Onwa East, no bank. Akoko Edo, no bank. Esako Central, no bank. Esako East, no bank. In Esako East, we have 2 giant cement factories with a turnover that runs into several billions. There is no bank there. It is the business of CBN to encourage banks to locate not just in what they consider to be economically viable areas, to spread out. So how come the bank can impose this hardship on Nigerians, but they can't compel central commercial banks to have branches? The way INEC will insist that before you are registered as a political party, you must have offices in at least 2/3 of the states of the federation. The CBN doesn't operate like that. So you went after the weakest, and then they come up with this dubious argument about fighting corruption. How? When I see CBN officials talking like that, I realize how. Let me ask you. For me, the height of corruption in Nigeria today is the fact that some people can get the dollar at 340. And most Nigerians have to get the same dollar at 740. And the price you pay for anything you consume now is based on 740. Even though those who are privileged to import those goods with official exchange rate are paying 440. So if the CBN allocate $1 million to you because you belong, within 24 hours, you will make 300 million naira. If that is not corruption, if that is not the height of corruption, then let nobody talk about corruption. This country belongs to all of us. So I don't have any personal interest, but just that I appreciate early in life. And one of the things that attracted me to trade unionism is when I see many working and only few people are benefiting. That is how I got into trade union struggle at the age of 17.
So, sir,
yes.
The president today, Muhammadu Buhari, graciously extended the use of 200 naira by 60 days. And some Nigerians on the streets of Benin have also condemned the extension. They said it will further increase the hardship. Are you playing same and lane with them? Do you believe
wait, my position is I associate myself with the injunction by the Supreme Court The Supreme Court is the ultimate court. If there is dispute between government and citizens, or between citizens and citizens. So the prerogative of the Supreme Court, in my view, I am bound by law, and having had opportunity in the course of being a governor to swear to uphold the Nigeria Constitution, that oath is still binding on me. But I even suspect that the president can say he said what he said. Are they going to load now 100,000, 50,000 of 200 in an ATM machine? In the next 24 hours, go and do your investigative journalism and see whether the money available now, new or old 200 naira, is now available for you to withdraw. Because I think that those who are determined to sabotage it, even the president's pronouncement, I doubt if they will obey it. They will still speak to faceless banks as being responsible. When government begin to blame saboteurs, it's like when we blame those who selling generators as being responsible for lack of power. I'm like, so if we know them, why are we not dealing with them? The business of government is not to lament, it's to fix it.
So, sir, in the face of all this, sir,
look, your advice to the
in the face of all this, sir, election is few days away. What are the chances of your party presidency?
No, I think this is a wrong question. When you talk of chances of my party, I think what should bother you is, without cash, can even INEC conduct the election? Because for the first time in our history, pre-independence, post-independence, that an electoral umpire, the chairman, 2 weeks to the election or thereabout, when I can imagine how much he has on his table to deal with, he has to create time to go and visit and plead with the governor of the CBN that they will need cash, that some of their transactions necessary for a smooth, free and fair election require cash. And he is appealing to the CBN governor to have access to such cash. And the CBS governor graciously assured the electoral umpire that he will make cash available. Now, for me, the implication of this is that so the governor can choose who to give cash to, and by implication, who he should not give cash to. That doesn't give me much comfort. It doesn't give me much comfort. So for me, it's about looking at the bigger issues.
Sir, I just want you to give a little advice, because the present precarious situation needs an encouragement, at least, to strengthen the hope of hopeless. What is your advice? What is the way forward?
My advice is that, and I've already implied that in my statement, and I will show you what I've said even before now. You know, I have been in this game of interfacing with state virtually all my adult life. When there is a policy that is designed to provoke you, resist provocation. Because the timing of these policies alone bring politics into it. And when you see and hear analysts saying it's meant to prevent vote buying, then they are the ones who are now politicizing the issue. Who is likely to do vote buying? Is it the guy who buy $1 for $7.40, or the guy who buy $1 for $4.40? My appeal to Nigerians is that, first, there is a huge difference between peaceful protest and violence or rioting. No society benefits from rioting. Innocent people will always be the victim. The property you see do not belong to the state. In fact, the state has no property. Government doesn't have property. We talk about government building only in a manner of speaking. Because in truth, for example, when I was governor of Edo State, every government building, you can say is Oshomole's building. But I ended my tenure. Those properties remain. I made them there too. So government property even belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to the governor. It doesn't belong to the president. So if you are angry with government, please don't mistake the policy maker for, government assets. Don't ever attack them, because at the end of the day, it is your taxes that will be used to rebuild them. So head or tail, you are a loser. Number two, a lot of people whose banks were destroyed yesterday, I am sure if you were to have the opportunity of a private conversation with them, banks made their money based on turnover. When the banking activity has slowed down, the informal sector is almost wiped off. Even the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is complaining that these policies is affecting their markets, etc., etc. To resort to destroy private banks is unfortunate, because we have a saying in our language that even when you are crying, you should still see road. So whereas I don't want to be misunderstood, because for me, this is fundamental. Nigerians cannot be denied the right to protest against anything they are not happy with. But Nigerians must know the difference between protest and rioting and violence. You can have massive protests without violence. I have led massive protests without violence. And even when police attack my followers, I tell them, two wrong don't make it right. But we remain focused that what we are fighting against must be changed. But we will not be provoked to fight. Because if you do, as I said, and the elections are postponed, will the masses benefit? The only, why the masses should be determined to protect democracy is that whether it delivers or not, the fact that it is only in your name that anybody can become a councillor or a governor or a president is huge. Even this debate about buying vote, it shows that now people realize the electorate matters, so they want to seduce them. And it's not only in Nigeria. The recent debate in America after Trump's disaster, some Republican states were amending the law, electoral law, and some Republicans were protesting. Now, the argument of the Republicans is that people should not bring water to voting center. They should not bring hamburger or beef burger or any burger or soft drinks for people to drink, because they realize that a segment of the population, probably blacks, they can't stay for long on a long queue. And if there is no water, no soft drink, no hamburger, they may not vote. And so the whites will vote. So they amended those laws. And I saw people on CNN protesting that this is meant to disenfranchise Americans. But the Republicans believe that you are inducing the voters by giving them water to drink. So there is I don't know who the purists are when they speak with that kind of managerial finality. They pontificate as if there is no corruption without private sector participation. And some of go and investigate the history of capital. And they now just, unfortunately, once you are a politician, as I'm here, I don't have bulk naira to change. I don't have. So it's not about me. But those places I've gone to, I have no naira to give them. If you are following my campaigns, you will see how people respond when I speak to the issues that bothers them. even the levels of applause indicates to me, in terms of hierarchy of needs, the one that bother them most. So people like us, you are in a deal, let's be honest. Some of you have been here since 2007. You can vouch for me that I have never been involved in vote buying. In 2007, we were fighting with PDP talks. 3 people were killed at Obam Primary School. And I erected the stone in their memory. Once I won through the court, I launched one man, one vote campaign. This Wimudia Stadium was filled to capacity. I invited who's who in Nigeria, dictators and non-dictators, and Democrats, sermonizing that democracy means one man, one vote, no thuggery. And as you can see, I govern for 80. I even won more votes. So what is at stake for me now? That I will resort to buying votes. Those who have been buying votes, they know themselves. But I'm proud to say that I have always won my elections. Because I go village to village, while other city to city, believing that on election day they will take money. I'm not going to mention him on this, but it's the last point I'm going to make. You know, in this town, when I saw people say they were determined to buy votes, and I look at the faces of people giving the hunger in town in 2011, I think it's 2011. I said, well, if you can't receive the money, take it. No receipt, no refund. Take it and vote them out. Because you must ask yourself, when they left this town, how much were they worth? They've come back now with their loot to bribe you. So take the money and vote them out. You must punish them. You can't reward looters. Some of you, if you watch your old visuals, I said all of these things. So I am not a believer that we should reduce the electorate to vote, because if this country must work for the benefit of all, and democracy must be such that power rests with the people, and the power of recall reside with the people, and the people vote based on their own objective definition of their own situation, that democracy is here. But I don't even want people to talk as if the concept of vote buy didn't start from Nigeria. It started from Europe and America. But we must fight against it. But the way to fight against it is not to punish innocent voters. Because you go around now, some people, if we don't properly mobilize them, they are saying, all this suffering, I would rather not vote. Now, that is not good for the system.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, my brothers and sisters, my mommies and my daddies over there. Is your sister again, your doctor, your friend, your girl, Anointed Lady TV. Please, if today is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel, please do subscribe for me. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So each time I upload any video, you will be notified. So in this my channel, I will be bringing up many things to you in which you will benefit from it. I do talk show, I do news, anything you want to talk about, I am into it. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So each time I upload any video or each time I'm on live on YouTube, you will be notified. Thank you very much for always being there for me. Please do subscribe for me, and as you do so, God will richly bless you and meet your heart desire. Thank you very much. I love you all.